want to be a collective bargaining mediator? That's a good choice. Collective bargaining mediators help businesses and workers reach agreements that save a great amount of money every year by avoiding strikes and lockouts. Above and beyond the economic benefits of the process, through the vast skills they employ, collective bargaining mediators empower both parties to determine their own fate and create agreements that reflect both sides' interests and concerns. I'm David Thaler of the U.S. Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service. In this 6-part series, we'll take you through each of the stages of collective bargaining, with tips for success in the mediator role, insights from seasoned professional mediators, and demonstrations of good techniques to overcome the many challenges that mediators face in collective bargaining. Since this series of videos is being made for an international audience, the guidance we provide will apply across a variety of nations, legal systems, and cultures. Where applicable, we will note the practices that are likely to vary from country to country. Let's go right to stage 1, which is the subject of the first video in this series, the pre-mediation stage. We know that not everyone watching this video will have the opportunity to meet with the parties prior to the day of mediation. Therefore, our guidance today will apply whether you meet prior to the day of mediation or just immediately before the mediation session. If you do have the opportunity to meet or communicate with the parties before the day set for mediation, make sure you meet or communicate with both of them. As parties enter into mediation, they're often suspicious of the process and will not be pleased to find out that you've met with the other side and not them. You risk losing your credibility from day one and may not ever get to mediate between those parties. Other things to keep in mind if you do happen to meet with the parties before the day of mediation: make sure they understand the process and how it's different from court or arbitration. Project an air of approachability and relatability. Be someone they feel comfortable being open and honest with about the strengths and the weaknesses of their case. Go over logistics. You don't want your mediation derailed because people went to the wrong location, arrived at the wrong time, or didn't have proper documentation to get into the building. Avoid getting sucked into the drama or mediating before mediating. From the get-go, parties will try to convince you of the righteousness of their own arguments and the fatal flaws of the other side's positions. Don't fall for it. Just listen respectfully, indicate that you understand what they're saying, not that you agree or disagree, just that you understand, and gracefully end the meeting. On the day of mediation, when you arrive, you should project an air of neutrality from the outset. You should greet both parties with equal enthusiasm. You should sit equidistant from both parties. Try to avoid talking with the parties beyond ordinary pleasantries. Now, let's watch mediator Martin Callahan as he arrives at mediation and greets both committees.
Morning.
Hi, Mr. Mediator.
Hi, good to be with you all. Good morning. My name is Martin Callahan. I'm with the Federal Mediation and Conciliation Service, and I just wanted to check in with you before we get going today.
We're happy you're here. Let me introduce you to our team. Of course, you know I'm Dana. This is Joe and Marcus, Denise and Mike. This is our union committee here, and we're happy to have you here to assist. This has been very difficult.
Yeah.
We're really hoping you can help us, Mr. Mediator. This company sucks. They don't care about safety, they don't care about us, and they don't want to give us any money, and we're going to have a real problem at the end of the day if we don't get somewhere.
Joe, thanks. I appreciate that perspective, and I'm going to want to hear that throughout the process, which we will begin shortly in joint session.
Could you explain a little bit about the logistics, what we can expect?
Sure, absolutely. So we will start out initially in joint session, where I'll explain much more of this, and then we'll spend some time privately with each side, and then reconvene in joint session, or we may spend time in private session most of the time. It really depends on how the process rolls. Are there any time constraints that I should be aware of today from anybody?
No time constraints. We're hoping for a productive day. Management has been very stubborn.
Okay. Well, I'm going to use this opportunity now to go and speak with the management, spend some time with them, and then I'll come back and let you know when we're ready to go into joint session, where I'll explain much more. And let's get to work. Thank you all. I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
Well, good morning. How's everyone today?
Good.
Good to be with you today. Just thought I'd pop in, spend some time with you before we get going.